I am finally back with another Squad Busters video. So today we are going to be taking a look at the best brawlers in the current meta for July. Let's begin. Alright guys, the first character we're going to be talking about is going to be Greg. Now for Squad Busters, it's great to have at least one Greg so that in case there are no monsters nearby, then you can just run to a nearby tree to stay busy and get loot that way. Sometimes you're going to get pressured out of mid or just not have the strongest squad, so it may be better to just run to the outskirts of the map and chop trees to hopefully stay above 5th place. Now whenever you play Greg, I would always try to recommend to people to try and get a fusion Greg whenever you can. The main reason is because Greg can one-shot trees as a fusion and he has a lot of health, right? And also considering that he's a common character, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to achieve this. Now since Greg is a supplier, that's the whole reason why you're choosing him in the first place, correct? A few months ago, Greg received a buff that allowed him to chop trees faster when in his baby form. This has just made Greg significantly better since the loot gain from the trees is so important to him and his kit. In general, Greg is starting to become one of my favorite characters in the game because now it's going to be more worthwhile to chop trees and get loot that way. Especially when you can combine a character like Greg with the trader, then the amount of coins you get from the trees will also help you speed up the trader to give you more gems. This will ultimately as well help you get more coins and gems to help you place higher in the game or open up more chests, which will get you a stronger squad. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be Shelly. Now Shelly is going to be the best all-rounder unit in the game because of her Supercell ability. Since she has the Supercell ability even in her baby evolution, it makes her such a great unit to have in your squad. You can blast the monsters, bosses, or enemies away to potentially keep your squad alive. This is great when being pressured by squads stronger than you, so you have time to run away from them. Now what I love about Shelly is her super evolution. Like, it's gonna help you guys deal more damage to the enemies and just get them down faster. It may not sound like a huge difference, but being able to shoot a second round of shells and shooting bigger shells will help you guys deal more damage onto enemy squads and hit more units in general. Now a pretty underrated evolution about Shelly is her classic form. The fact that you can even heal after every super shell thanks to her classic form, it'll help Shelly stay alive a lot longer so she can just keep on cycling her super shell ability. I mean, it's nasty, especially with her being up front in your squad most of the time. Having that extra ability to heal up may save her life. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be Mavis. Now Mavis is going to be a better supplier more than ever now because of her recent buff. Mavis can now find gems in carrot patches in her baby form along with coins as she usually can. This makes her even better now because at least you can get gems with coins, so it's more worthwhile picking the carrot patches. Before, it wasn't really worth wasting time picking carrot patches because of how long it took for one, and secondly how little coins you would get. Like, I hated using Mavis. But if you think about it, Mavis is another supplier kind of like Greg, and just like Greg, she's going to be paired very well with the trader. Since you get coins from the carrot patches, you want to be pairing Mavis with the trader so you can get more coins for the trader faster, just like Greg, and then the trader can give you more gems. Now just like Greg, if you can get a fusion Mavis, oh my god, it makes a huge difference because picking those carrot patches won't take as long. Obviously you want to be as quick as possible when picking the carrot patches, but you also want to be picking the entire patch to get that extra loot from it. By getting the fusion Mavis, it's going to help you guys achieve this way easier, just like with Greg. Now I would also recommend at least having Mavis's super evolution so you can get the heals every time you pick a carrot. Mavis can actually be a pretty underrated healer because she will be able to heal up your entire squad whenever picking carrots when you at least have her super evolution. Unlike a character like the medic where you only heal one character at a time, this will make Mavis more efficient wise when healing. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Barbarian. Now the Barbarian actually received a buff to his health, and this was something that I was really hoping for in the past. He received a health buff that increased his total health from 1400 to 1600. This will help him stay alive a little bit longer, which he needs since he is a melee fighter in the front of your squad most of the time. Now since the Barbarian can actually do a lot of damage per second, he is going to be a great asset to your squad to take out the lower health enemies. Now the Barbarian can do a lot of damage pretty quickly, especially when enraged or when he's elite. He can be a great unit to have in your squad to use against other enemies or just other units in general that don't have a lot of health. But let's be real here, the only reason why the Barbarian has shot up into the S tier in this meta is because of his ultra evolution. Because with his ultra form, he becomes enraged after busting a foe. Being able to instantly become enraged after busting a foe, if you think about it, is completely broken. He can easily do so much damage to the enemy squads, monsters, or bosses. This will make him significantly better, and without this evolution, he won't be nearly as good. Obviously, with the Barbarian being a melee unit, you want to be pairing him with another melee unit like the Barbarian King. You want to get that additional attack attack speed buff and damage buff from the Barbarian King so that you can not only make your Barbarian stronger, but to make all of your melee units stronger in general. This pairs even better with the Barbarian because if you have a Fusion Barbarian and an Ultra Evolution Barbarian, he's going to be attacking insanely fast and just going absolutely nuts. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Archer Queen. Now it's important that you're keeping your Archer Queen alive because she is going to be essential to increasing the attack speed of your ranged units. Most of the ranged units in the game like Colt and Tank are the ones that are going to be dealing most of the damage for your squad, right? So why wouldn't you want to increase the attack speed of the characters that are dealing the most amount of damage for your squad? Now what's pretty good about the Archer Queen is having that super evolution. With her super evolution, she'll be able to recover health steadily when not attacking. This will be helpful considering that the Archer Queen doesn't have a whole ton of health first off, but it's also a good thing that she received a buff to her health in the last balance change that increased her health from 1200 to 1300. Now a tip I do want to share about the Archer Queen's classic form is that you always want to be engaging the enemy squad first. You want the exploding arrows to hit the enemy squads first in case they have another Archer Queen, Shelly, or El Primo that could possibly interrupt your Archer Queen's ability. This will be even better if you have her Ultra form. You can throw down that explode spell and have it tank for the Archer Queen so your exploding arrows can hit the squad first. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Ice Wizard. Now the main reason why the Ice Wizard is so good is clearly because of his slowing abilities. When you have the opportunity to slow down the enemy squads, it will help your squad defeat the enemy units much faster. Also, it will make it more difficult for the enemies to escape your range, just helping you out even more. If you think about it, the Ice Wizard can even deal a decent amount of damage thanks to his classic evolution. With that ice fan that he throws out, he can deal much more spread damage to multiple targets at the same time. Granted, it can only happen after like every 6 attacks, so you want the Ice Wizard to be attacking as much as possible. Now if you think about it, the Ice Wizard can even be paired very well with the Hog Rider. If you have the Ice Wizard to slow down the enemy squads, and then you have the Hog Rider to speed up your own squad, that is going to make it even easier for you to take out your targets in general. Despite the Ice Wizard being one of the newest characters in the game, he is definitely making a splash and his presence noticed in this meta. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be Penny. Now something that has made Penny a little bit more viable in this meta is the buff that she got to her health. Her health was increased from 900 to 1100 health, which can help her stay alive within your squad. Since her damage is actually pretty good, you want to keep Penny alive so she can deal lots of damage with her Penny bags. But let's be real here, the only reason why Penny's ranked this high in the list is because of her Ultra Evolution. With her Ultra Evolution, the treasure that she gets will have much more loot. So now that the hidden treasure will give her a lot more loot, then it is going to be more worthwhile running around the map to find that treasure. Before the Ultra Evolution was released, it wasn't really worth running around the map going for the treasure since the loot given was bad, but at least that issue has finally been fixed. But if you don't have the Ultra Evolution, at least get that Super Evolution so you can get hearts from the hidden treasure. Now that you can get some bonus hearts guaranteed from the treasure, it can be a great way to get your squad back up to full health. Getting those hearts and healing up your squad is just another incentive to want to look for that hidden treasure besides just getting coins and gems. Personally, I know why Penny is so good in this meta because of that hidden treasure, but personally in my opinion, I don't really like playing Penny too much. I still think it's not worth running around the map looking for the treasure when there are other suppliers in the game that give loot more efficiently. Also with characters like Greg and Mavis, it's easier to get loot more often as long as you memorize where all the trees and carrot patches spawn. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be Tank. Now Tank is easily considered to be one of the best units in the entire game. The fact that you can take control of the tanks that are found around the map is completely broken. The tanks have a lot of health to help you tank shots for your squad, and of course they can deal lots of damage as well. I still find it funny that Tank is considered a defender unit. I mean, it does make sense because she's in the front of your squad and has a ton of health in her tank, but she can also deal lots of damage, so I kind of see her as like a damage dealing tank hybrid sometimes. You want to know something that's crazy about Tank is that they even buffed her within the recent balance changes to give her 200 more health. Tank didn't even need a health buff whatsoever, but this definitely now solidifies her as one of the best defenders in the game. She already gained so much health because of her tank, and now she gets a health buff to increase it that much more. It's insane. And of course with all their characters getting their ultra forms, I mean Tank getting that ultra form just makes her even better. With her ultra form, tanks can now repair during overdrive. This is going to make Tank even stronger because with those tanks repairing when she's in that overdrive form, then it's going to make it even harder when the enemies are trying to stay alive from Tank, but also when Tank is just constantly healing up, oh man, it's going to make it even tougher for the enemies to take her down. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Trader. The Trader is now considered to be one of the best suppliers in the game because of the buff he received in the recent set of balance changes. In his baby form, he can now receive 2 gems instead of 1, and in his super form, he can now receive 3 gems instead of 2. So now that he gives more gems in all of his forms, he is a character you definitely need to have in your squad. Since you need gems in order to place higher in the matches, and also to progress throughout the gem pass, you need to have the trader to get more gems. It's also good to just run around killing smaller monsters to get coins and then convert those into gems. It's better than playing super risky and potentially losing units in your squad trying to take out tougher bosses or other squads. Now if you can, try to get fusion traders as much as possible, or just getting more traders so you can get more gems. Not only will you get an increase of 4,000 health if you form a fusion, you will also be able to double your damage, and with your fusion perk you can give more gems more often. Since you have a pretty good chance of stacking up on traders at the early stages of the match, since he is a common character, it would be nice to stack up on those traders for the end game. Just don't go totally crazy with them because they are just suppliers. Like, you still need to get characters from the other classes to form a well-rounded squad. And just like all the other characters, with the trader's ultra form, it makes him so much better. With his ultra form, he'll be able to heal more when giving gems. This is going to make it even tougher for the enemies to take down your squad and just make your squad survive a lot longer. Like I said, with him being the best supplier in the game and giving you more gems so you can progress, there is no wrong answer of why you shouldn't be using the trader. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Hog Rider. Now, I know I said before that Max was the better speedster than the Hog Rider, but I've come to the realization that you need the Hog Rider way more than Max. Being able to replenish your speed boost every time you run through a bush is clutch to making sure you can either chase down the enemy squads or to escape the enemy squads. I'd recommend going for a Fusion Hog Rider because the Fusion perk allows the turbo to recover even faster in grass, so this will help you maintain your boost throughout the match even more efficiently. Now yes, the only downside with the Hog Rider is you need bushes around you so you can keep on replenishing your speed boost, because if not, yeah, you're cooked. This is kind of unfortunate if you are running around the map and there aren't really any bushes near you, right? Especially if you're trying to escape enemies and there are no bushes nearby, and then you run out of turbos and die. Like, that's just the most painful thing in the game. Now, something you have to do when playing the Hog Rider is you need to run around the map looking for turbo boosts to increase the amount of turbo boost that you can hold. Like, say for example you have 10 Fusion Hog Riders, that won't even matter if you don't collect any additional turbo boosts. You need to get more turbo boosts, so when you run through bushes and recharge your turbo, you want to have as much boots as possible so it takes longer for your turbo boots to run out. Alright guys, the next character we're going to be talking about is going to be the Barbarian King. Now, the Barb King is a fantastic tank to have in your squad because he has over 3,000 health to shield your team. The super form just makes the Barbarian King even stronger because you won't need any healing units in order for the Barbarian King to heal up. This will make it even easier for the Barbarian King to stay alive, since he is essential to increasing the attack speed of your melee units. It's also important that he stays alive, since he will probably be your primary tank to protect your squad throughout the match. Well, there you guys go, the best characters you guys gotta be playing in July 2024. Let me know who your guys' favorite character is in the comments down below. Well, anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that ranking video, I highly recommend you guys go check out this ranking video right here.